Operation Midnight Hammer was not just a mission, it was a masterstroke in modern warfare, a chilling display of stealth, deception, and precision. The United States launched two separate formations of B-2 Spirit bombers. One flew west toward US outposts in the Indian Ocean, nothing more than a decoy. Meanwhile, the true strike force quietly paced eastward skies, heading for one of the most heavily fortified nuclear bunkers in the world, Iran's Fordow enrichment facility, carved deep beneath solid rock. This facility wasn't built like any ordinary structure. It was buried hundreds of meters into a mountain, its main chamber protected not just by layers of reinforced concrete but also by the natural topography. A gentle slope around the entrance quickly turned into steep ridges, providing natural shielding from aerial bombardment. But just as the bombers approached their final approach vector, a US Navy submarine unleashed a barrage of cruise missiles, each targeting nuclear installations near Isfahan. And in a twist of strategic timing, it was revealed that hundreds of uranium centrifuges had been moved out of the site just days earlier. Was it a coincidence, or had Iran somehow caught wind of the storm heading its way? The B-2 Spirits lifted off under a veil of secrecy from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri during the early hours of June 21, 2025. After takeoff, they executed a high-risk maneuver, splitting midair. The decoy group veered toward locations like Diego, Garcia, and Guillaume, luring in global attention and satellite tracking. But the true offensive force, 7 B-2 bombers armed with massive ordnance penetrators, pressed forward toward Iran's nuclear infrastructure undetected. The mission was a marathon, an 18-hour journey one way, nearly 37 hours round trip across hostile skies. The aircraft relied on precisely timed mid-air refueling sessions with KC-135 Stratotankers, the aerial lifelines that kept them in the sky. These massive tankers allowed the B-2s to stretch their range to over 12,000 miles. To put it in perspective, a B-2's fuel reserve could fill 2,000 SUVs, a marvel of stealth engineering. This bomber was built not just to fly far, but to fly invisible. Crossing into the Middle East, the operation entered its riskiest phase. Over Lebanon, Syria, and Iraq, the bombers threaded through airspace with surgical precision. In tandem, the US unleashed a wave of electronic warfare, decoy aircraft, jamming systems, radar spoofing, all meant to blind Iranian surveillance. Fighter jets and reconnaissance drones cleared the path, identifying surface to air missile batteries and neutralizing threats. Thanks to its radar evading profile and carefully planned flight patterns, the B-2 Spirits slipped through undetected. Below them lay Fordow. It wasn't just fortified, it was entombed. With 6 sonar tunnel entrances, the actual enrichment chambers were believed to sit 200 meters into the mountainside. The slope grew significantly steeper 160 meters from the ridge, making a vertical strike nearly impossible. Even from an ideal altitude, a bomb would need to punch through over 40 meters of solid rock, a feat few weapons could achieve. That's where the GBU-57 massive ordnance penetrators came in. Each B-2 carried one of these 30,000-pound behemoths, designed to crack open bunkers no ordinary bomb could touch. The strikes focused on the ridgeline above the tunnel network and the buried enrichment chambers. Simultaneously, other MOPs targeted the entrances themselves, choke points critical to the facility's function. Post-strike satellite images revealed the scale of the destruction. At least 3 of the 4 main tunnel entrances were cratered, rendered unusable. Debris collapsed across key access points. The Fordow site had been crippled, and just an hour before this aerial onslaught, cruise missiles from an US Navy submarine had battered the Isfahan nuclear facility, creating chaos across Iran's defense grid and splitting their response in two. At precisely 2:10 am Iranian time, the first B-2 released its bomb. Over the next 25 minutes, 14 MOPs rained down across Fordow and Natanz. The simultaneous sea-to-air assault confused, overwhelmed, and dismantled multiple targets. And as silently as they arrived, the B-2s vanished, fading back into the night sky. So how did these bombers avoid detection? Unlike conventional aircraft, the B-2 has no vertical stabilizers or radars. Those structures reflect radar, which is unacceptable for stealth. Instead, the B-2 uses split-track radars, panels that open on opposite sides to nudge the aircraft left or right. It's slower to turn but nearly impossible to detect. When a pilot presses the left rudder pedal, the left panel opens and produces drag, yawing the aircraft left. The same for the right side. These small design choices are what make the B-2 a ghost. Structurally, the B-2 is a marvel. Its wings are composed mostly of graphite epoxy, while its leading edges are fiberglass epoxy designed to reflect radar. The crew compartment is built from lightweight aluminum, and the sections exposed to extreme heat near the engines are protected with titanium. It's all topped with the mysterious radar-absorbing material painted, rumored to cost over $1 billion in R&D, and designed to swallow radar waves whole. Now let's talk firepower. The B-2's internal weapons bay is fitted with an advanced adaptive suspension system. Depending on the mission, it can carry up to 80 Mk-82 bombs, each weighing 500 pounds, or 16 of the advanced AGM-158 JASSM cruise missiles. These missiles, once deployed, unfold their wings and fly autonomously over 230 miles, navigating with pinpoint accuracy toward their targets. Here is how a typical deployment works. As the B-2 reaches high altitude, the bomb bay doors open, the mob drops free, guided by GPS and inertial navigation. Lattice wind control surfaces at the rear of the bomb make real-time adjustments, compensating for wind, altitude, and enemy countermeasures. These fins give it just enough maneuverability to stay on course without engines. Because of this, it must be dropped from extremely high altitudes, giving it time to adjust its flight path. Then comes the impact. Weighing over 14,000 kg, the GBU-57 hits the earth with a terrifying force, penetrating over 200 feet into concrete or rock before detonating its payload. Its purpose is singular: annihilate whatever lies beneath. Operation Midnight Hammer was swift, devastating, and if you weren't watching closely, completely invisible. In a world where global tension simmers beneath the surface, this mission wasn't just a message, it was a demonstration of what happens when precision, secrecy, and power collide. If you like the video, do subscribe and make sure to hit that like button, and got any questions, feel free to ask them in comments.